Decision Manager 7, Part 2. In my previous video, I listed the 5 topics that I want to talk to you about. 1. Local Workbench. 2. Decision Model and Notation, or DMN. 3. Other notable features of Decision Manager. 4. Cloud Native. 5. Out-of-the-box experience. Today's topic is Local Workbench. I'm going to demo Decision Manager's local workbench, namely Decision Central. The intention of the demo is to show you the new Decision Central web-based workbench, which is based on the web UI framework called PatternFly. I shall show you what it looks like and how to navigate the UI, but I'm not going to describe everything in detail. If you are familiar with the JBoss BRMS Web UI, you may want to contrast what I'm about to show you with what you already know. And here is the login screen. First of all, I have to enter my credentials. Click on Sign In, and it brings me to the home page. You can see in the home page, Design is where you create your projects, and Deploy is where you deploy your applications. You will also notice that near the top left-hand corner, there's a home icon here. You can jump back to this particular page anywhere in Decision Central simply by clicking on this particular home icon. You notice that in this menu here, when you click on it, it also allows you to go to these two different areas, Design and Deploy. The same areas you can jump to from the main home page. And on near the right top hand corner, you can see there are several different symbols. The most important one is this one, which is the admin functions, which I'll show you later on. Now let us first of all go to the design area. This is your space. You can create multiple spaces. A space is like an organization unit. For example, different departments in a particular organization. And here in this particular space called My Space, I already created 3 different projects. Loan, pre-qualification, mortgages, and OO path. If you look at the top right hand corner here, you can see there are a number of options here. For example, if you're new to Decision Manager, you can try out some of the samples. For example, in here, you can select any one of these samples, click on it, and then click on OK, and then off you go. Since I already imported this particular mortgages object, or project rather, I'm not going to import it again. If you look at other options, there is also an import project option. For example, you already have a project defined in, say, GitHub. All you need to do is give the GitHub repository's URL and click on import, and off you go. If you want to add a new project, all you need to do is click on the Add Project icon or button, and then give it a name. For example, Dummy. And you are presented with 2 different choices, either import an asset or add an asset. For example, you have created a DMN DRD or Decision Requirement Diagram using an external tool. You can export that diagram into XML and import it into Decision Manager here using an Import Asset button. All you need to do is specify where that asset is and you import it. If you want to add an asset, you just click on Add Asset, and then you're presented with a number of assets that you can add. For example, for any project, you must have a model. You can add native Drew syntax rules files. You can add DMN. You can add decision tables and so on and so forth. That you can see the huge number of assets you can add, and each asset will have its own editor to help you edit that particular asset. Let's cancel this and go back to one of the projects I have. For example, in here I used the mortgage. You can see I'm presented with a number of different assets that I have. If I click on any one of those assets, in this case it's a data objects or data model for your business rules. For those of you who are familiar with the JBoss BRMS UI, you'll probably find this very familiar. You can see the same kind of category on the left hand side, and there is a box here, customize view, and you can find the similar kind of options that you had in BRMS UI. The thing that is different is that the download project, for example, you download this whole project, the whole project called mortgages from here as a zip file. Right? If you look at other projects, you have DRL projects, assets, data objects, different data objects, domain-specific language definition, guided decision tables, guided rules, guided rules using DSL. So the guided rules are like wizard-like user interface to help you create business rules without needing to know the syntax of the underlying rules rule syntax. And we go back to the mortgage package. We'll notice that there are a number of buttons here. You can build this project by clicking on the build button, and you can deploy this project by clicking on the deploy button. It will deploy it on the execute server, which I'm going to show you. Let us go to menu here and click on execute server. I already have one application deployed, which is called loan prequalification. Right? That was created using that deploy button. Let us have a look at the admin functions. Click on it. You can see these are all the admin functions available. In previous version of Decision Manager, namely JBoss BRMS 6.x, there are no such functions. In order to do similar things, you have to either go to the command line, issue a number of commands, or use an external editor to edit certain configuration files. Now all these functions are packaged together in this admin function page. The most useful ones are users, groups, and roles. You can create users in this interface, and you can assign what a particular user can do, but you cannot assign the permissions directly to a user. You have to assign the permission to either a role and assign that role to a particular user, or you can group users into different groups and assign permission to a particular group, and then the user will have the permission of that group. Let us click on the user. You can see that there are several different users, and for Andy, I belong to these 4 groups, and I have the role of administrator. Right? My permissions are, for Workbench, I am allowed to do all this, edit source code, etc. For pages, I can access these particular pages. For editors, I can read all these editors, right? And for group, there are several different groups: key manager, key management, vessel, etc. If you click on one of this, you see there is a read access error in here. That is because the res all does not have permission to go to the home page of the decision manager. Right? If you go to roles, you can see for admin, you have similar kind of functions. For example, you click on this here, you see that you can assign, you can allow particular workbench. For example, you can change this. Right? At the source code, this guy has denied the use of source code. For example, Workbench, this particular role, you cannot change the source code in here. And you cannot download a jar file, etc. And for the pages, it cannot access any of these pages. And for editors, it cannot access any one of these editors. That is the admin function. Let's go back to the admin pages. And there are a number of other useful admin functions. I'm not going to go through every one of those. And that's it for the demo for now. Now you have seen the local workbench. If you are familiar with JBoss BRMS 6.x, you will discover that the UI is much more organized, and the navigation and look and feel is consistent with other Red Hat products, such as the web UI of Openshift, 3-scale API management platform, etc., as they are also based on the web UI framework PatternFly. Please tune in for my next video, which is on Decision Model Annotation, or DMN. Until then, thank you and have a nice day.